We are into our final couple of weeks of public speaking for spring 2019. We're into learning module 4 and presentation 4. Before I get into that, wanted to, as always, give you a little wrap up on presentation 3. Thank you for your PowerPoint presentations that you developed. I learned after the fact of some issues with doing the PowerPoints and using Adobe Connect. Dr. Kincana and I visited with him about it a little bit, and he said that if you took your images from the internet and tried to place them right into your PowerPoint, there's a lot of coding that goes on there, and so that's why you lost the images. If you'd saved them to your desktop and then inserted them, they should have worked. If they didn't, I don't know what to tell you at that point. I'm very sorry. I do thank you for the work that you put in on those. You didn't get knocked any points for what it looked like if I had the images on the PowerPoint that you sent to me, so don't worry about that. If you didn't have images on there and I felt like they could have been an addition to it and made your PowerPoint stronger, I did make that note, okay? The big issues we had this time, number one is time. You have to look at the time, and I know for some of you there was an issue seeing the cards. If you've practiced it and you've hit that 6 or 7 minute time, you should have a feel for how long that's going to be. We had several that went 3-4 minutes over time, and that's not okay. You've got a set time frame. You need to stay in that set time frame. So practice it and time yourself and make sure you're hitting that. We had one student who, when she timed it, was 8 minutes, and she gave her speech, and she was a few minutes or a few seconds short. Then she was shocked. Well, when you give a presentation, you have a tendency to speak faster, so keep that in mind. So if you're doing your presentation and it's a 6 to 7 minute presentation and you're hitting right at 6 minutes when you practice, you probably need to add a little bit, or you need to slow down a little bit, because again, once you do your presentation, you're going to speed up. Number two, by and large, we're improving by leaps and bounds on citations, on citing our sources, but you have got to keep working on that, especially when we get into a persuasive speech, because otherwise it's just straight opinion. You may give me some stats and some numbers, but if you don't cite it, you could be making that up for all your audience knows. You have to cite where that information is coming from. Again, number one, that adds to your credibility. Number two, it gives further support to your point of view and why you're saying it. And number three, you avoid plagiarism. If I don't get citations this time, I'm taking all the points out of the body. Okay, it's that critical. You'll get a 0 out of 20 if you don't cite your sources. That has to be there. So make sure you're citing those sources. Okay, I know that sounds harsh, but we're at speech 4. I've been saying this all semester, and it's that important. It has to be done. All right, okay. So now we are into learning module 4, which is presentation 4, and in this one you're going to be given a comparative advantage speech. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. I took the liberty of making some images to show up there while I'm talking about it, so you'll see those images and you'll hear my voice. Again, presentation aids, seeing and hearing really helps, okay? So here we go in learning module 4. This is for April 24th through May 10th, which is the end of this semester. You need to go ahead and review the chapters 10, 11, 14, and 16. There won't be a test over these, but because they're the ones you've already done, but do review those. Also in your textbook, look at Appendix 10. Appendix D. That's the one that deals with presentation 4, and there'll be some good guidelines for you. For this learning module, you need to look at chapters 15 and chapter 20 and do the quizzes based off of those. And then review your sample outline. It's the same sample outline you've used for presentations 2 and 3, using the same one this time. And let me give you a tip. Whenever you're doing your speaking outline that is graded as part of your speech, just take this template and fill in your information. That's all you need to do. You don't need to make anything new, anything different. Go ahead and fill it in. For some of you, you didn't include all the different items, the attention getter, the introduction of the topic and purpose, the credibility statement, the relation to the audience, the preview. You didn't include that in your introduction when you spoke, and then I looked at your outline. You didn't have it on your outline. Go ahead and put that in your outline. That's going to help ensure that you say it when you actually do your presentation. Presentation 4 will be delivered May 6th and 7th, and I have opened up another time for us for then. So Monday, May 6th, we have 10 a.m., noon, and 7 p.m. Tuesday, May 6th, we have noon and 7 p.m. So there's 5 speaking dates for this one. Please get those in and pick those out very soon, okay? You also will have a final exam in this class, and that is going to go active at 8 a.m. Monday, May 6th, and it'll be due at 5 p.m. Wednesday, May 8th. But more on that here in just a bit. Presentation 4 is going to be an 8 to 10 minute presentation. That's why I opened up another speaking time. I'm not going to take more than 4 at any one of these speaking times, okay, because we won't have time. We'll be in here for 2-3 hours if we do more than 4. So the 5 different times that you can speak, I'm only going to allow 4 in any given time, okay? For this speech, again, think about your audience. This is a college audience. These are college students, okay? So keep that in mind. This is a comparative advantage speech, and what you're doing with this one is you're comparing 2 different things. Why you should live on campus versus off of campus. Why folk music is better than rock and roll music. Why Pepsi is better than Coke. And it's not a speech dealing with taste. Your taste buds are different from mine, so you might like Coke better than Pepsi. What we're talking about is the Coca-Cola bottling company versus the Pepsi-Cola bottling company. Why the Coca-Cola company is better than the Pepsi. It may be that they treat their employees better. It may be that they're better for the environment, and it may be they do more charitable work. Those are the types of things we're looking for. Why folk music is better than rock and roll, for example, it could be that folk musicians tend to be more socially conscious. Their music is more acoustic, so the electricity, it leaves less of a carbon footprint. I don't know, something along those lines, okay? That's what you're looking for. If you can, and I know 2 of you are roommates, but if you can, reach out to one of your classmates, get your speaking dates at the same time, and you choose opposite sides. So one of you may decide, I'm going to speak on why you should live on campus, and then reach out to your class and say, hey, anybody want to speak on why you should live in an apartment? And try and do that. You're not debating. There is no debate. One will speak, and then the other. But it makes it a little more fun if you have an opposing point of view and you're speaking one right after the other. So think about that, okay? You do not have to have a PowerPoint presentation with this one. It helps. Visual aids always help, but you don't have to have it. So just keep that in mind. At the time of your speech, I prefer it before because this gives me a chance to look through things and make some corrections if you give it to me before. But at least by the time you give your presentation, you need to send me your speaking outline. So at least by the time you speak, I prefer it before so I can take a look and help head off any issues. You also have a learning activity in Learning Module 4. I've shared with you on Blackboard under the Learning Module, under Learning Activity 4, a YouTube video I want you to take a look at. And then there's some instructions there. After watching the video, give me 2 important elements that you learned from it. Briefly describe them in paragraph form, and then discuss how those elements can be beneficial as you prepare. And then email that to me by 5 p.m. Wednesday, May 1st. Email me your response by Wednesday, May 1st, 5 p.m. And in this final speech, you're going to do a peer evaluation. And this peer evaluation form can be found on Blackboard under Learning Module 4 as well. There's a presentation for speaking rubric that is on there. It's a PDF. So what you're going to want to do is print that off, and then you can write in it neatly, please, so that I can read it. You'll give a grade for each of the modules that are included there. Give me some comments at the end of it, and then you can either take a photograph of it and email it to me, or scan it and email it to me that way. But there is a peer evaluation of speech number 4. So you're going to need to watch one of the people in your group, watch their speech, and do a peer evaluation. I don't care which student you use. Your evaluation will have nothing to do with their grade. The people who are reviewing you will have nothing to do with your grade. Your grade will solely come from me. But the idea behind this is to get you watching and listening to speeches more ethically and more critically. And then finally, you do have a final exam in this class. It isn't an essay form. It's not hard. But there is an essay exam that will be going active Monday, May 6th at 8 a.m. It'll be due Wednesday, May 8th by 5 p.m. Again, it is an essay. I'm going to ask you to think of a speech topic and then give me an explanation of why that's the topic you chose. So don't wait till 4 p.m. on Wednesday to do it. You're not going to have time, and you're going to have to rush through the thing, because I'm going to ask you to come up with a speech topic, and I do need to see some sourcing with it. Okay? All right. So there's Learning Module 4. If you have questions on this, please reach out to me and visit with me. Again, you do need to, by Wednesday, May 1st, go on discussion board. This is one thing I forgot to mention earlier. Go to the discussion board and tell me what your topic is and why. That is by Wednesday, May 1st. Get that in. This past time, we had a whole lot of people not send it to me until much, much later. That is worth 5 points. Doesn't seem like a lot, but those things start adding up. So you're going to have that by Wednesday, May 1st. You need to get your quiz taken, your 2 quizzes taken. You're going to need to do your peer evaluation during the presentation. You need to get your outline in for your presentation. So you only got a couple of chapters, but there's lots of other little things that go along with this. Okay, I will type all this up. I'll share it with you in an email. I'll put it on the taskbar on Blackboard. But again, if you have any questions, get in touch with me and we'll work through it as we go into our final presentation. All right, have a great day.